Well, the lovely and talented Miss Melissa Snowden. It took me 4 days to get the smell of dog crap out of my Camaro. So, seems to be something kind of unnatural about standing in front of a crowd of people. Personally, I think it's an evolutionary artifact. Back in the animal kingdom, having this many eyes on you all at once usually meant someone was going to get eaten. You know we're going to wrestle, right? No, I'm just kidding. So I got a ticket on my way to work the other day. 90 in a school zone. It wasn't that bad, though. It is 70 during school hours because, you know, these people don't like their kids. But I'm thinking it's 10 after 8. Shouldn't these kids be in the classroom and off the hood of my car? Who's really at fault here? So it was a bicycle cop that chased me down. Took him a while to catch up with me, though. Well, he was just pedaling to beat hell, ringing his little bell behind me, bling, bling. So finally I pulled over. I said, all right. I'll let you give me a pump back to the station on the handlebars. Yeah, he didn't think it was nearly as funny as you did. So, speaking of tossing salad, have you ever just thought of something really funny or really ridiculous and just started howling laughing? And suddenly you realize that there's no way you can explain to anybody else around you what you're laughing about? It's happening at my buddy's wedding. We're at the reception dinner. I'm at a table with my family. And so the waiter started bringing out these plates with discrete piles of olive, of endive, tomatoes, and dressing on the side. And I'm thinking to myself, God, this has to be $100 a plate. I cannot believe I still have to toss my own salad. I told my mom that one. She just laughed and said, I don't get it. So I get to travel a little bit for my day job, which is kind of cool. You know, the more I leave Austin, when I come back, I know I just appreciate it just that much more. This really is a great city we get to live in here. I mean, when you live in Austin, you really don't give off that hardcore stereotype that most people associate with Texans. Austin really is like Texas light. I mean, where else would you hear a conversation like this? I was actually in a restaurant the other day. These two cowboys are talking about what they're going to have for lunch. One cowboy looks at the other and says, you know, I think I'm going to have a salad. Other cowboy says, salad? Shit, boy, that's what food eats. It's what food eats. That's a true story. So I was in Seattle. Woo! I was in Seattle about a year ago. And there I got a lot of grief. I just got an earful about how backwards they think Texas is, and I just really started getting sick of it. At one point, I took it out on this woman with a shaved head and, you know, hairy armpits. She's shaking a pamphlet in my face, yelling, "Wilderness protection!" So I looked at her and drawled, and I said, "It's all right, little honey. I can protect myself from wilderness. I got lots of guns." And you know, that's just the wrong thing to say on so many levels. I don't think she knew which part of that pissed her off the most. So I had time to run. So even though I do live in Texas, I drive a Volvo. A Volvo with a gun rack. All right, a wine rack. It is a little bit harder to deal with carjackers. Back off, motherfucker. I will take your head off with this slightly pre-nubile Cabernet. Overtones of cinnamon, I think you'll find it. Finishes in your ass sideways. So, buddy of mine comes into work the other day, late, complaining about food poisoning. I should probably also mention he smelled like Ted Kennedy on his birthday. So I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, food poisoning. I remember when I was a functional alcoholic, I used to blame my hangovers on food poisoning. You know, why do we do that? I mean, you know, oh, of course it could never be the 12-pack of beer, the half bottle of tequila, the Jägermeister shots. Had to have been the seafood I had for lunch yesterday. I don't drink shots anymore. I haven't drank shots in years, weeks. Okay, today. Now, there was a time I was getting a little concerned. You know, maybe I'm becoming a full-blown alcoholic. So I thought maybe it was that time that I make that call to AA. I said, hello, my name is David. I think I'm an alcoholic. He said, sir, this is AAA, and we think you have the wrong number. God, I wish that wasn't a true story. So, in my heavy drinking days, I used to spend a lot of money on cabs. And it's not so much that I live so far away. It's just when you start factoring in having the cab driver take you through the drive-thru at Taco Cabana. Past your ex-girlfriend's house, 3 o'clock in the morning. Open up, I just want to talk. Bitch. Then you got to factor in, you know, vomit stops, and then it's usually extra to have them take you up to the door instead of leave you on the lawn again. So I get a lot of spam email. And, you know, I just had no idea there were so many hot Russian lesbian women that were having birthday parties and wanted to show me the pictures. So I'm not the only one that gets those. Good. All right. The other ones I get usually fall into two different categories. The ones that promise a lower mortgage interest rate, or the ones that promise a larger, harder erection. And now that I'm 33, that's really all I care about anymore. But you have to watch it, you know, because... Yeah, baby! So you have to watch it, because some of these deals are rip-offs. Because I wound up with a 12% mortgage interest rate and a 4.5 adjustable rate penis. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is bullshit. So try to avoid watching reality TV, just as a matter of principle. I think these shows just really underscore this whole blithe sense of entitlement we have in this country. These people go on these shows to get an honest professional appraisal of their abilities to sing and whatever else they're going to do. And when they don't like what they hear, they get bent all out of shape. And they always say the same thing. Who are you to judge me? Just once, I want to see the panel say, judges, we judge. You came in here on your own free will to be judged, and we judged you. I thought you knew that. So, I learned a little bit of Russian for a trip that I took last year. And, you know, if you're going to go to a foreign country where English is not the language spoken, you know, you ought to try to pick up a few words. You know, nothing fancy, just a few of the basics. Things like please and thank you. You know, that's a big hit anywhere. Beer and where's the bathroom? Very practical. Or, are you sure you're 21? You know, the things are important in any language. But what are the first words that everybody learns in a foreign language? The cuss words. You know, as international as you may think you sound when you can say things like motherfucker in Portuguese, I guarantee you don't. How I know this is when I was in St. Petersburg, there was this little Russian kid. He looked like Eminem. He picked us out as Americans, and he wanted to talk. So he comes up to me and goes, "You are Americans, yes?" I said, "Yes." He says, "I speak English. I like rap music. Motherfucker!" It's good, yes? Oh, yeah, that's great. Motherfucker. Another little tip, if we're going through customs and they ask you, do you have any drugs or firearms? I'll say, no, but do you know anybody around here? Because we sure could use some, unless you want some check one with salami-sized fingers performing a cavity search on you. And then again, maybe that's your idea of a dream vacation. I'm not here to judge you or stand in the way of your good time. Another thing I've noticed, I mean, when people are on vacation, they're just much more friendly and approachable. When you're out on Bourbon Street, at a bar, on the table next to you at the beginning of the night, complete strangers. But by the end of the night, they're your new best friends. You'll end up drinking with them, getting crazy with them, creating these epic stories you will tell your friends and coworkers when you get home. Why don't we do that more in our own cities? I mean, love to talk to you. Hang out with you, get to know you. Wake up between you and your girlfriend in the morning, I mean. Bit parched. You ever noticed what a life-changing event buying the right shoes can be for a woman? You know, if you're a guy, shoes should really cover your feet, and that's about it. Some guy I worked with actually commented on my shoes the other day. So we kicked his ass. I mean, come on. You say thank you to something like that, it is cafe curtains and wine spritzers all the way down. Maybe your own show on Bravo. I don't know how that works out now. But I'm thinking, you know, it's like maybe shoe stores are to women what like a Home Depot is to men. I mean, I don't go to church, but if I did, I think it'd be a lot like Home Depot. I mean, all the elements are there. Think about it. Big building, full of majesty, the whispers of the divine that both awes and dwarfs you with the infinite possibilities. But then in the end, we all fall short of the glory of Bob Vila. You ever notice that when a guy meets a really great girl, she thinks, oh my God, she's great. I hope she never changes. The same girl will look at that same guy and think, hey, he's got potential. Like he's a fixer-upper. Like she's Bob... like she's Bob Vila and he's this old guy. Now that's a show I'd like to see on cable. Hi, my name's Tracy. This week on This Old Guy, we'll be going through my boyfriend's closet, getting rid of his ratty old Pearl Jam t-shirts and Hustler collection. Join us next week when we talk about driving safety, knowing when you've had too much to drink, and staying out of titty bars. Does anybody still go to titty bars? I'm sorry, gentlemen's clubs. Not the response I expected again. But call me. You know, if you're going to go to a gentleman's club, you should go in with two expectations. You should know two things. One, the word stripper comes from the Greek word stripenos, which means issues with men. And also, you should know that you are there to be fleeced. The only bulge in your pants that may get you anywhere is the one that your wallet makes and the one that an 8-ball makes. And even that's no guarantee. And don't be that guy that thinks, hey, the stripper really likes me. Hey, you know, just because Cinnamon let you grope her and told you her real name doesn't mean crazy monkey sex tonight or any other night. Or at least not with you. But we all have a friend like this, don't we? The one that the stripper really likes, and they always go through the same tired routine. It looks a little something like this. So, do you have a boyfriend? Do you ever date anybody you meet here? And of course, she has to give you her tired line. I'm just doing this to get through school. Blah, blah, blah. On to Act 3, empty wallet and hammered. So for years, my house was a home for the wayward, yuppie, functional alcoholic. And as my roommates started moving out, started taking the house back to myself, and you'd really be surprised how much stuff collects as roommates move in and out over the years. And I just started finding all kinds of crazy stuff, but there is one item that stands out above all the others, and that was a box of porno tapes. I'm not talking like 4 or 5 porno tapes. I'm talking about like 40 or 50 porno tapes. Bad 80s porno tapes. I mean, no forethought, no production value. Just set up a camera in a basement, any basement, and let the magic happen. Man, they were really just too bad to keep, I know, because, well, I watched them all. But, you know, as nobody fessed up as to who they belonged to, I started finding a better use for them. I started leaving them at people's houses. In, you know, mailboxes, bookshelves. If VCRs between seat cushions. You know, the funny thing is nobody ever mentions having found these. Were I to find Pulp Friction or Forrest Hump in my VCR, I would think that just such a finding would be worthy of mention. So stop blaming your boyfriend, or your girlfriend, or your roommate. It was me. Hope I haven't caused you protracted weirdness. Hey, honey, want to watch a movie? Just push play on the VCR. Ass Force 1 is right where you left it, you fucking animal. So, does everybody know what a fluffer is? A fluffer, in porno parlance, is someone who prepares the male actors to act by thinking you can put the rest of this together for yourselves. They have an equivalent for the female entertainers. They're called puffers. Now what the puffer does is meets the female entertainers as they come on the set and say, "Oh my God, you look great! And have you lost weight? And you changed your hair, didn't you? Because I love it. Now let's go cuddle and talk about feelings. We can watch Hope Floats again." It is so on then. Best job I ever had. So keeping my resume current. Job market's coming back. Options are starting to open up. And, you know, I'm doing my research. And as I do my research, I run across things like the Americans with Disabilities Act. Has anybody ever heard of this? The Americans with Disabilities Act says that an employer cannot bar you from employment for any disability that you may have. When I interview for jobs now, and they ask, "Do you have any disabilities that may prevent you from the successful completion of your tasks?" I always say, narcolepsy and Tourette's. Think about it. I mean, I can sleep at my desk anytime I want. You can't do anything to me. I have narcolepsy. Tourette's? Oh my God, I can cuss anytime I want. I can cuss somebody out. I can cuss for no fucking reason whatsoever. You can't fire me, motherfucker! True story. Maybe I said I wasn't going to talk about my job this evening, but you know I was probably lying because you know this is much cheaper than therapy. I become a student of something that I like to call corporate speak. Corporate speak is the language that managers try to use to mask the fact that they're about to screw you or manipulate you. Perhaps you've heard this spoken before. Something like, "Hey, I've got an opportunity for you." An opportunity, huh? Usually I expect my suitors to buy me dinner first before I grab my ankles, but I don't know, you're kind of cute. Talk dirty to me a little bit. Buy me a drink. I bet we could work something out. So, you know, when you say things like that, that always leads to, "Hey, you're not being a team player." You notice it like team players become the modern adult corporate equivalent of when we were kids on the playground. Come on, everyone else is doing it. Don't you want to be like everyone else? Drink the Kool-Aid? There's no I in team. Yeah, there's no you in team either. But there is an I in David, and that's what I think we should keep sight of here. And as far as the families or corporations try to present themselves as, I know I will never have this conversation with my family. Now, David, although we have valued your membership in this family, we've had to make some changes. You've been replaced by a more cost-effective son from Brazil. His name is Paolo. I think he's going to help us become a much more lean, streamlined family for the 21st century. So I'm turning 34 this year. Starting to do all the things I said I was going to do, but never quite got around to. This, of course, would be one of them. But it's not like I'm going to be dead next week or anything, but, you know, now would certainly be the time to get started. But I also went skydiving recently. Has anybody been skydiving? People who haven't been skydiving, I always want to ask you, what's it like? What's it like? What's it like? You know, it's something that sort of defies description. So when people ask me what skydiving is like and they've never been skydiving, I always say, well, it's a lot like the first time I had sex. That first mile and free fall out of the plane. Terrifying, exhilarating all at once, and really over before I knew it. So, what else? Yeah, I had my first prostate exam last year. Remember back in biology class when snapping the latex glove was kind of funny? It's not so funny anymore. It's really more traumatic than anything else now. So tell me, does your doctor keep both hands on your shoulders during the whole exam? Oh, man. You know, and afterwards I just felt so dirty and violated. Doctor just says, clean yourself up, put your clothes back on. Can't you just hold me for a while? I'm feeling kind of vulnerable. Apparently that's not covered by my HMO. Who knew? I don't know, maybe this is going to sound a little bit weird, but I really think he should have called me later. Getting a lot of shit for not having settled down. It's usually the same tired arguments, usually from the same aged aunts. Perhaps you've heard this before too. Hey, you can't have fun your whole life. What? One I beg to differ, and two, what the fuck kind of argument is that? That always leads to, hey, don't you want to have kids someday? Well, I don't know. We have remote controls now, and share my PlayStation 2? Whatever. I don't know, to me, marriage just seems to be a way of saying, here's a very expensive ring. Now will you please stop fucking me? All right. So, even though I'm getting older, I'm trying not to grow up. I go to grocery stores now, and I like to act out the way I always wanted to when I was a kid, but couldn't, because my parents were there. Now my parents aren't there. So I'm the one making frisbee golf shots with tortillas, making three-pointers with bags of produce, riding my cart through frozen foods, wind whipping through my hair, what's left of it, and, you know, all the while the children looking up in stark admiration and awe. Same times their mothers are looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? How am I supposed to keep order when you're doing stuff like that? I mean, what kind of example are you setting for the children? Well, first of all, probably not a good example for your children. Second, and you're really not going to like this, is sometimes your children are an example to me. I mean, think about how blunt kids get away with being. When was the last time you called somebody a big dookie head? Yeah, I know it's been weeks for me too. I mean, walking through the chip aisle the other day at the grocery store, this kid just walking down the chip aisle, flapping his arms, saying belly button over and over again. Belly button, belly button, belly button, belly button. Why? Why not? When you're a kid, you could do shit like that. Oh, the power of belly button. I would be so locked up if I ever tried anything like that now, but I'm thinking, maybe I'll try it in my next staff meeting. I think you're going to find these financial trends over the next couple of quarters. You're a big dookie head! And I'm going to lunch. Belly button, belly button, belly button, belly button. Thanks, everyone. That's my time.
This is rated L.